Yo, welcome back everyone to another episode of the Bearded Boomer Learning Tarkov, and this week we're going to be talking about a topic that confuses so many new players. We're going to be talking about ammunition and which rounds you should be using and which rounds you should not be using, because in Tarkov it is important what you are shooting out of your gun instead of just hitting shots like in most other traditional FPS. The reason for that is we also have an armor system in Escape from Tarkov, which means that things like bullet penetration power actually matter. And that is why there are hundreds of choices of rounds you can shoot from different guns. So let's make this a little bit more simple so that you, the newer player, know which round to use with which gun. I stream this game 4 days a week on Twitch, so if you want to come say hi or if you want to come ask any of your questions live, feel free to do so. You can find my links down below the video, but for now, let's get into things. Oh, but before we get into the things, let's quickly do this thing that YouTubers do where they tell you to, click the like button, click the subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a comment, all that stuff. You guys know this, you see this in every video, so just, if you like the stuff, do the things. Now let's just dive straight into the meat and potatoes of this video. Let's go. Now, before we can actually get into which rounds you should be using and which rounds you should be avoiding, we should also talk about what the different bullets do. You have rounds that have been designed to be able to penetrate armor, and you have rounds that have been designed to make as much flesh damage as possible. This leads to a term that you might have heard before, which is called the leg meta. Leg meta basically just means that you're using an ammo type or a gun type that is designed to cause as much flesh damage as possible, and you're aiming at people's legs because that's the area of the body that is unarmored. What will happen is you will black out that limb and collateral damage will spread throughout the body, really rapidly killing that person, leaving them behind with a lot of emotional damage. In this video, I will be going over the most used calibers of ammo and be telling you which rounds to use at which stage in the game, which you can get from vendors, which you need to look out for on the ground, which things you can craft in your workbench. All of that will be in this guide. Now, first off, let's start off with 9mm because frankly, this is a pretty simple one. The thing here is the first round you'll have available in 9mm is going to be PST GZH, and as long as you have low-level vendors, this will remain your go-to round, whatever you want. The reason for this is the availability of the two best types of ammo in 9mm, which is going to be the AP 6.3 and the PBP rounds, but both of those are not available on the flea market. The only thing you can do is you can either buy them off very high-level vendors or make them in your hideout, craft them at your workbench, but the thing with it is, for example, AP 6.3 can be crafted at the workbench level 2, but the craft is really inefficient. It's really expensive and it doesn't really give you that many bullets, so I would not recommend doing it. And then PvP can be crafted at workbench level 3, which is further in your progression, of course, but it is again a quite expensive craft, so I would not go for this unless you're really rich at that point in the wipe. So basically, for 9mm, most of the time, you'll probably just be using PST GZH unless you're really rolling in cash. Let's move on into another beginner's favorite gun, which is shotguns for a lot of people, because in Tarkov, they actually feel nice to use. And let's talk about some 12-gauge shotgun ammo. At level 1, after unlocking Jaeger, I would recommend using Express Buckshot bought from Jaeger. The reason for this is it has a little bit more damage than 7mm buckshot, and it also has a small accuracy buff, so that's nice to get as well. Now, unless you really want to, I would not suggest running any slugs on lower level vendors, because all of the low level slugs are pretty damn bad and are gonna cause you to have a bad time. Tarkov is a hard enough game as it is. You do not need to make it more hard on yourself by using crappy ammo. Just don't. Once you get your Jaeger to level 2, which happens pretty quickly because Jaeger levels quite fast, if you like using the shotgun still, I would consider stocking up on his Magnum buckshot round. The reason for that is there is a minor difference, an insignificant difference in penetration between the Express buckshot and the Magnum buckshot, but Magnum buckshot does a lot more damage and gives you a lot more bang for its buck. So definitely go for the Magnum buckshot rounds. Now, shotguns become really interesting when you hit level 3 on Jaeger, because at that point, you're going to unlock my favorite shotgun round, which is the flechette round. Flechettes are kinda stupid right now. They shred armor like it ain't no thing, and they still deliver quite a bunch of damage as well. So once you get that Jaeger to level 3, be sure to stock up on a bunch of flechette if a shotgun is one of your guns of choice. You're gonna be using the shotgun for several tasks throughout your progression anyway, so you might as well. Now, at level 3 Jaeger, that is actually the point where the first decent slug round becomes available as well, in the form of the .50 BMG. You could start using these slugs. The best slug round is going to be the AP20, but again, that one is going to be a little harder to get. The AP20 is going to be available at Workbench level 3 and is also sold by max level Jaeger, but at that point, if you want to get Jaeger to max level, you need to be level 33 and have done a bunch of quests and stuff like that, so that is definitely further down your progression. Now in 12.12, the UMP is quite a popular gun as well, and let's not forget the fact that the Vector, for the .45 Vector, is also a very strong gun. So let's look into some .45 rounds. This is another one where the progression is going to be rather easy, rather simple, because there is not too many options to get lost in. At Peacekeeper level 1, he will sell you a laser match round, which is the only decent round for you to use at level 1 Peacekeeper, so just use that with your UMPs. And then at level 2, he starts selling you the laser match full metal jacket, or FMJ rounds, which is a straight upgrade to the previous one, so just buy that one instead. And then at level 3 Peacekeeper, he will start selling you a choice, basically. My choice here will always be AP, but if you decide that you want to start tickling some toes and have a go at some leg meta gameplay, feel free to buy the Hydra Shock rounds and just, blast every toe you see in Tarkov. Now let's move up in caliber and let's talk about 545. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like 545 this wipe. I feel like it's in a very bad spot, and very often it feels like you're firing wet noodles at people. The base round, which is available at level 1 traders, will be your PS round, and you can go for a slight upgrade once you get proper to level 2, which is going to be your PP round. So the best 545 rounds are either going to be BS rounds, PPBS rounds, which are also called godlike rounds, or 7 and 4 of these. Problem with these are they're not available on the flea market, and you'll need a workbench level 3 to be able to craft them, and even then they're going to be pretty expensive to craft. And if you're spending a bunch of money on a round, why not just go for a better round and go for a higher caliber, which you can also spend the same amount of money on, but just get more bang for your buck. I'm not going to be bothering with 545 this wipe, and I would recommend the same to newer players, because again, this goes back to what I said about the early slugs with shotguns. Don't make Tarkov harder on yourself. As a newer player, Tarkov is already more than hardcore enough. Next in line is going to be 556 ammo, which is going to be your go-to ammo if you prefer guns like the M4A1 or the MDR, or maybe even the SCAR, etc, etc. Your baseline ammo here at level 1 Peacekeeper again is going to be the M855 round, which is not a great round, but it is what it is, and it's the only round you're going to have available, so you're going to have to make do with it. It's not bad, but it's not great either. And as soon as you hit Peacekeeper level 2, I would suggest start using the M856A1 round, which you can also start crafting at that point in your hideout with Workbench level 2, because usually when you hit Peacekeeper level 2, you'll probably have a level 2 Workbench as well. If not, make sure to put some attention there and level up that Workbench as fast as possible, because in this wipe, considering the fact that a lot of ammo is not as available as it used to be, leveling up your Workbench is going to be a big thing. Now, probably my next guide in this series is going to be about the hideout, so let's keep that for that one and let's talk about that later. The best round in this caliber is going to be the M995, which you will be able to craft at a Workbench level 3, or the other really good round in this category is the M855A1, but this will only be available at max level Peacekeeper or Skier, so as a newer player, that is something you probably don't want to bother yourself too much about, because getting to max traders in your first wipe is going to be a challenge. There is enough to learn in Tarkov, and don't feel bad about not reaching that in your first wipe on Tarkov. I mean, that's just Tarkov. Now, I think this next caliber we're going to be talking about is basically the bread and butter in Escape from Tarkov right now, and it's the 7.62 category. The reason for that is I strongly recommend newer players to use 7.62 ammo and the guns that come with it. And there's a couple of reasons why I strongly suggest that. The guns that use 7.62 ammo are very easily available and very cheap early on in your gameplay. Learning how to deal with recoil and kick from 7.62 ammo is going to make you a better player and a better aimer in Tarkov faster, because yes, it's a higher caliber round, yes, a lot of them kick a little bit more, and especially guns that use this type of ammo, which is like the AKM and stuff like that, they are known to have pretty solid recoil. But the better you get at controlling that, the easier it's going to get once you get access to guns that have less recoil. And the other thing is that 7.62 is basically the home of the best round, the MVP round in Escape from Tarkov, which is 7.62 BP. This is a great round. It has amazing penetration, it has amazing damage, and it's been considered like the best round in Tarkov for a pretty long time now. And to be fair, getting access to the BP round is actually, compared to some of the other high-end rounds, considerably easier. Well, I say considerably easier, it is definitely more accessible, because what happens is once you get your workbench to level 3, so again, put a focus this wipe on getting your workbench up to level 3 ASAP, you'll be able to start making the BP rounds, and the recipe for making them is actually not that bad, and you get 120 rounds of BP every time you craft it, so you can pretty quickly build up a nice base of BP ammo. The only downside to it is that it is a pretty long craft. The other way that you can get this round is by getting your prapor to level 3 and completing the Task Punisher Part 5. The other easy thing about 7.62 is you may have noticed that I haven't yet mentioned which is the base round, your go-to round, your budget round that you're going to be using in this caliber, and that is because it is simply the easiest bullet that you have in the game. It's the PS, it's 7.62 PS. It'll be available once you log into the game for the very first time, and that is the ammo you will be using all the way up until you get a stash of BP that you can start using. And then the last type of ammo that we're going to be talking about is going to be the high caliber ammo, because high caliber ammo right now is pretty popular in Escape from Tarkov because we're kind of in a DMR meta. A lot of people are running DMRs. The SR25 is a sublime gun this wipe. So yeah, we need to talk about this as well. The reason I haven't put it in like earlier into the video is because I don't think that this is a type of ammo that a lot of really newer players will have access to quickly, because getting good DMRs will take a while, and then using the right ammo for it will also take a little bit. So I don't think that's it's not something that you're going to be using in your first 10 levels, maybe not even your first 20 levels. But if you get the opportunity, let's say that you kill someone and you steal their DMR, it will be nice for you to know which type of ammo to use. Before we get into any confusion here, high caliber ammo is going to be 7.62 by 54 for guns like, for example, the SR25, the RSAS, etc, etc. The first good round for this caliber will become available at Peacekeeper level 2, which is when he will start selling you the M80 round. M80 is definitely a good budget round, it's a solid round, it's a good all-rounder, and it is the basic budget round for this one. Once you get your Peacekeeper to level 3, you can start buying M62 Tracer rounds, but the problem with those is they are quite expensive. They are $9, almost $9 a bullet, which is quite costly. The nice thing about them is that they lower your recoil by 5 flat points, which is pretty good, but still pretty expensive. It's perfectly okay to just run M80 if you don't feel comfortable spending money on the M62s. Best round in this category is going to be the M61, but that will only be available from max level Peacekeeper after completing Wet Job Part 6, or you'll be able to craft it at the workbench level 3, but again, that is going to be at a pretty steep price because that craft is not cheap at all. And there we go, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I hope I was able to create a little bit of clarity in the immense vastness of ammo choices in Escape from Tarkov. If you have any questions, as per usual, guys, just drop them down below in the comments or come ask them live on my Twitch channel where I stream 4 days a week. Now, if you like this video and the content, I have plenty more of this stuff planned, so I would strongly advise you to click all of the buttons down below, all that like, all that subscribe, all those shenanigans, just click all of them, and I will see you in the next one. Happy hunting in Tarkov, bye-bye.